And in a lot of times in your life, you will be in unfamiliar environments. It could be because of, you work in a new place, you're moving countries, or the global pandemic decides to hit you over the head. It happens. And that's when you need to really be able to lead yourself if you want to be able to thrive. Hey everyone, my name is Lynn. I'm very happy to be here. And as Pascal said, I do currently work in Amnesty International as a major donors officer. Before that, I've done a lot of other different things, as many people have. I've been in retail, I've done door-to-door sales, I've been in restaurants, cafes, recruitment, a lot of things. And for a while, I also was a member of AIESEC while I was in university. And that's where kind of I started to learn about leadership. I had to suddenly lead a local committee with over 50 people at University of Oslo. And then I got the opportunity to be part of the national board, where I was leading the work with membership development, recruitment, and national sales. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about self-leadership and the things that me and Anka have learned and that we would like to share with you guys. And a big part of that is self-leadership in unprecedented times, which I would definitely say we are in right now. And in a lot of times in your life, you will be in unfamiliar environments. It could be because of, you work in a new place, you're moving countries, or the global pandemic decides to hit you over the head. It happens, and that's when you need to really be able to lead yourself if you want to be able to thrive. I have an example of this that I wanted to share for my introduction, which has nothing to do with the pandemic. But 3 years ago, when I started working in Amnesty International, I was 26 and I was one of the youngest full-time employees. And if you know anything about Amnesty International, it's a human rights organization. It's big, it's global, and the people who work there, they are not just passionate about what they do, they are like through and through professionals and sometimes national experts in their fields. And there you come, 26 years old, just out of university, coming to the table, gonna have something cool to say. Yeah, no, it was quite overwhelming. So for a big chunk of the first time, I had like a mild case of imposter syndrome, where I kind of felt like I had faked my way in there because I felt very insecure in my role and I was very unsure of how I could actually do what I was supposed to do with integrity. Fortunately, that went away, but it took some work. And part of that is what I learned earlier about self-leadership. And that helped me to become more confident, ambitious, be able to feel assertive in what I'm doing at my work. And now I am confident in it again. Of course, it doesn't work all of the time, but it works some of the time. And I'm going to share with you, together with Anka, some of the things that we have done, some of the exercises we have done, and some of the tools that we use to be able to map out how to self-lead in weird-ass times. Sorry for cursing. I don't know if that's allowed, but it might happen again. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to my lovely co-host and great friend, Anka.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Hey guys, my name is Anka. I too might curse during the time of this workshop, but it happens. I'm originally from Romania, and I've been living in Norway for about 7 years now. Before that, I used to live in Mauritius. And the reason why I traveled was because I used to be part of AIESEC for quite a while. And with their help, I got the opportunities to live in different countries. And because of that, I also got the opportunity to develop a lot of my self-leadership skills. The same as Lynn mentioned, this came due to the fact that I've been put through change in a lot of different times. For example, either changing cultural or work environments, from like moving to Romania to Mauritius and afterwards to Norway, or changing the way I work, for example, switching from in-person work to online work or remote work and so on. And one of the I also have a couple of examples like Lynn did. One of the, I think, probably toughest moments that I had to change such a big part of me was when I moved to Mauritius. I'm usually the kind of person that always believes that to be on time means to be early, and I found myself in a place where people are a lot more relaxed with time, and they're like 30-45 minutes late and everything is cool. But for me, it just literally hurts my soul and my pride when I'm late or other people are late. And I was working there as an event manager, so I was organizing some conferences, and I had to organize conferences that are supposed to be everything on time and everything on point, and I was supposed to be responsible for that while people were being constantly late. So this is something that challenged me a lot, and it challenged the way that I worked, and it made me really look at myself and really look at the work environment around me, and to realize what I can do to make it better. The same as an example, last year before COVID hit, me and 3 friends of mine from Vietnam, we decided to open our own company that I'm co-founder of right now. And we had to go through working on different time zones, working online because they live in Vietnam, I live in Oslo, not being there for each other. And the same as probably you got from the time example from Mauritius, I'm quite a control freak and I like things to be very in order. And I've gotten to work in an environment where that is not the case, because I'm not actually on the ground in Vietnam to get everything done there. So once again, I had to change so much about myself and learn how to let go and trust the people around me. And that's something that I got to do a lot with the help of the skills that I've gained in AIESEC, through self-leadership skills that, as Lynn mentioned, we're gonna go a bit into depth during this workshop, and you're gonna see what kind of tools and what we went through in order to get over all of these challenges. And so I'm gonna make the intro to the workshop, which is called Dance Like Nobody's Watching, Work Like Everybody Is, and it's a reflection into your self-leadership and how do you as a person work. Very important for everyone that's here right now is this is not a lecture. This is going to be a workshop. This is going to be an interactive session. I think the most in a row that we're going to talk has happened so far. So we would really like you guys to contribute as much as possible to this session, and just have play off of each other and work on this together. So my first question is, what does it mean to you? What does self-leadership mean to you? And maybe if you guys have a concrete example of how you use that in your work, or what do you think it means for you personally? It would be great to hear 1 or 2 opinions from you guys.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I think it's about maybe controlling your emotions as well, being able to control yourself in situations where let's say are complicated, right? So I guess it's about that as well, to being able to sit down, take a deep breath and see all right, how do I solve this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Perfect. You are Daniela, right? Yeah. Thank you, Daniela.
Yes. Let me check if I can put the camera on. No, I can't.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Daniela, for your answer. Yeah.
Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Anyone else would like to share with us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there are some students out there. Well, for me, self-leadership is to stick to your own meanings and just don't care, to put it mildly, about what other people have to say about you and your meanings. No matter if they say that your meanings are stupid and you're brainwashed or something.
Yeah, to basically stick to your instinct and stick to your strengths and what you
rather your views.
Can I also add something as well?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, so Self-leadership for me personally is something that is the way basically how we lead our own lives, how we are responsible for our own actions. Like, for example, we set goals and then we do everything to achieve those goals. We follow the timelines that we set, you know, the smaller tasks we need to do so we can fulfill the goals that we have set. Yeah, that's basically it for me.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's actually quite close to the definition that I've had written on the other slide. So if Lynn, you can click on, thank you. This is just a couple of definitions of leadership that I found, but it does incorporate a lot of what you all three guys have said. So self-leadership is a lot about how you lead and act in your life. And basically it's to set your own course, to follow it and correct it as you go. And that's one of the reasons why I like this definition, is because like to enhance that correcting, because self-leadership, it doesn't say that, oh yeah, you found the course of your life, or you made I don't know, you have a goal and you have a plan to get there and you're going to follow that plan, and no matter what, things are not going to work out on the first try, on the second try, on the fourth try, maybe even. So you need to always correct your course and the way you work. And it's very important to also like combine your life skills and your business skills together, and do basically what works for you. So you always need to use basically your strengths in right in self-leadership, and your weaknesses is something that you need to correct for and make sure that they do not get you back. So as long as you know all of these things and know who you are and what makes you tick and what makes you work, that's when you achieve that level of self-leadership.
Is that my cue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it then. Yeah, those are some great points, Sanka. And with that, I also want to emphasize a bit what this workshop is not going to be. I don't know about you guys, but during this crazy year, I have many times thought to myself that there has to be something wrong with my routine. I'm doing something wrong. And I have seen a lot of things like this pop up that has supposedly given me the answer to all of my problems, or something like this, where if you just have the perfect morning, if you just have the perfect routine, everything else will fall into place and you will be efficient and you will be amazing at everything you do. And maybe even like me, you've actually sought these out and you've gone to YouTube and you fell down this rabbit hole of looking at these amazing people in their beautiful houses that get up in the morning and do 5-hour meditation and then drink a soulful cup of coffee while they think about gratitude. And you know, that's very nice. If you find these things inspirational and you want to incorporate them into your day, then you go for it. But at the end of the day, not all of these things are going to fit into everyone's life. For instance, me. You know what I like to do in the morning rather than meditate and think about gratitude? I like to sleep. I am really not good with getting up in the morning. So I like to sleep until the last possible minute, roll out of bed and start my day. Which means that if I want to do something that has to do with planning my day or thinking about how can I use this day to the most, I have to do it the day before, which is completely fine because that's when I shine. So in this workshop, we're gonna look at all of these solutions that come from the shelf. We take down, they fit for a lot of people, not perfect for anyone. And we're gonna say, how about no? That's what we're gonna say to them. And we're gonna look into trying to make something that's personalized to us, that works according to our strengths, our weaknesses, our needs, our schedule, and the goals we actually have. And I don't know if you can tell, but I've been very inspired by the web pages I used to make for my friends and myself and my friends in like 2006, the Pixo free webs kind of time. So it's going to be a lot of glitter. I apologize for that. No, I don't. I'm very proud of that. So to move on, I have mentioned the term unfamiliar environments and unknown circumstances a couple of times now. So what does that really mean? A lot of times I've talked about the pandemic, which is, of course, we are in it, so it's very easy to just jump to that, but that's not actually what this workshop is about. It's about other circumstances in addition. And I'm sure you all have found yourself in some of these unprecedented circumstances, times that have brought a lot of big challenges to your life. Some things could be like you've changed schools, you've moved countries like Anka has, or you've moved with your family, you've changed your job. Does anyone have any examples of like times in their life when they've just found themselves in a completely new and unfamiliar environment?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part? Unfamiliar what?
Unfamiliar environments or circumstances.
Oh, for me, for example, like since I'm from Spain and moved to Norway, the culture is completely different, you know?
Yeah, culture
So
shock.
that exactly, literally. So I think that's one of the more like and recently like situations that I've been into, like kind of complicated.
Yeah. Does anyone else want to share?
Yes. Well, some of the most unfamiliar situations I've been into was moving from Ukraine to Norway. It was kind of the biggest change of my life, and the other one was starting at the football team with girls onto football teams with girls that were at least a year younger than me, which I thought could be embarrassing, but it turned out to not to be so actually. And one third situation which was unfamiliar was starting as an intern at Figenschou, a book publishing agency.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I see Anna also has her hand up, so maybe we can do a short last one and then.
Thank you. Yeah, I had those periods in my life before. For example, that happened when I moved to the US to actually become an exchange student to study abroad, and that was I had a cultural shock. So basically, yeah, that was it. And there are a lot of other things that have also influenced me, and I have also felt weird because there were huge changes in my life. But that's something to talk about, like without stopping. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. And I would like to just jump back to what Maria said about starting a new internship, which is actually one of the things, one of the segues that was very nice. Because I wanted to give the example of when you start a new job, right? When you start a new job, you usually have a leader or a boss who will make sure that you have everything that you need to do your job well. Like they will introduce you to your colleagues, they will give you a job description of what your responsibility is, the tools that you need, if you need a uniform, they will ensure that your work environment is safe, that you're compensated for your time, and etc. But then we have all of these times, like when we go on exchange, when we move countries, when we start a new hobby with unknown people, where there is no leader who can do all of this. And that's when you kind of need to be that boss or that leader to yourself and ensure that all of those things that someone does for you in a setting where you start something new, you have to do it yourself, so that you ensure that you have an environment in which you can thrive. And that's something that we're gonna move into. An example for me, for instance, is that I'm very good at starting things and I'm terrible with routine. So I know that if I am the only one sitting in this room and I tell myself I need to have this done by Friday, it's probably not going to get done by Friday. So I need to say to someone, hey, I'm working on something that I would like for you to look at. Can you look at it on Friday with me? Because then it needs to be done to Friday because I already asked someone to look at it. So I kind of need to create these kind of bosses that look over my shoulder in different aspects so that I know that I get stuff done. And that's kind of where we found the title for this workshop, that you should dance like nobody's watching. You should have a great time. You should thrive. You should be in the flow and work like everyone is. You should work like your boss is standing behind you, staring at what you're doing while having a good time. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it might. So in the rest of the workshop, we're gonna stop talking so much and we're gonna actually do some exercises. So we're gonna do some personality tests, we're gonna look into strengths and weaknesses, and we're gonna look into some tools. So I think this will be really cool. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look into a little personality test, which is hosted by Anka. So I'm gonna, yeah, my computer froze. No, it didn't. There we go.
Yeah, cool. So the first thing that I would like to discuss with you and kind of see an input from you is whether you guys are a team player or not. Why, you might wonder, why is this relevant for like a self-leadership workshop, because that's where you lead yourself and not others. But like, for example, me and Lynn did this test and it showed us quite like relatively accurately what strengths do we have as a team leader, and that kind of shows you also how comfortable you are in which direction for other people to lead you and how to lead yourself. So we're gonna do this test. Obviously, you need to take this with a bit of a grain of salt, because all of these like personality tests and like team role tests and so on, they are just kind of guidance, or just to see if you get any new input out of it. It's not something that I don't know, it says very accurately you're like this way and no other way. So I'd like to actually the first exercise for you guys to take about 5 minutes. It shouldn't be more than that, because it's quite short, to take this test. And afterwards we're gonna go into breakout rooms. You're gonna be about 4 or 5 people in each breakout room, depending on how many people you are attending. And there I would like you guys to just discuss, each of you maybe 1, maximum 2 minutes, to say your opinion on the result of that team player test. What was the results? Does it sound familiar to you in any way? Like, do you recognize yourself in it, or was it all bullshit? And how do you see that, like in your work, either at school or at work, and so on? So yeah, we can take about 5 minutes for this. I'm gonna stop talking so you guys can concentrate on the test, and then after that we're gonna put you into breakout room. I'm gonna announce you when we're close to that, and then you guys are gonna discuss between yourselves like what the results are, and then we're gonna move on to the next exercise.
So I was in one of the breakout rooms, and just like I said there, I would just like to remind everyone that personality tests are not the end-all be-all of you. It is not a description of who you are as a person, but it's a very good starting point to starting to think a bit more critically about yourself and be self-aware. So if you feel like that was not me at all, completely fine. If you feel that that was on top, that was me, spot on, that's fine. But in the end, all of the things that we're good at or bad at, we can learn to be better, or we can stop caring about it and become worse. It's all about self-awareness. So for the next part, we're gonna take what we just talked about and we're gonna dive a bit deeper. So if everyone could get something to write on and with. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. I think you have to put the presentation back again, because it's out.
Oh, am I not sharing?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can make this work. There we go. Maybe share screen. Okay. Do you see my screen now?
Yeah. Now it's working.
Yes, perfect. Okay, and you see the presentation?
Yeah.
Ah, technology, great. All right. So for the next part, we're going to dive a bit deeper in. So if you could all get something to write on with, pen and paper, phone, computer, whatever, arm, doesn't matter. We're going to do an exercise that is part reflection and part sharing, like in the previous one. And Tarini, just for information, I think we have a bit more time than we anticipated for the breakout rooms. So yeah, just check in with me. Cool. So we're going to talk a bit about strengths and weaknesses. And what I've done here is I've split them into 2 parts. There is one that looks at the internal parts, which is a lot about who you are with your personality, who you are as a person, what you enjoy doing, what gives you energy. And there's the external part, which is all the things you really can't control that much internally, things that need to be around you for you to be able to showcase your strengths and to be able to work on your weaknesses. So I have some sentences under the internal ones. You don't have to answer this in a full sentence. Just use it as a starting point to start thinking about some traits that apply to you. And I'll just read them out in case someone is on a phone or something. So based on the test that you just took and your previous experience in life, what would you say your strengths are? So if this is difficult for you, you can try to think of a big challenge that you have had to overcome in life and try to see if you can identify what kind of personality traits or what about you made you overcome that. And you can also try to think of a time that you've been part of a group project. What would they have missed out on if you were not there? And what did you bring to the table? And also what gives you energy and what makes you feel confident. And then we're going to talk about the weaknesses. Rather than putting yourself down here, I want you to think about what kind of tasks you keep postponing or dreading to do. It doesn't just have to be work, it can also be at home. What really drains your energy, what you really not enjoy doing, and where do you have to ask for help when you're doing something new. And also, if you look at the test we just did, the ones that you had the lowest score on, see if there's anything there that you can pick up on. And then for the external questions, when was the last time you were in the flow, that work just like it felt natural and everything was going how you wanted it to? And when was the last time you struggled to get work done? And what were the circumstances? What external factors were present around you? Like, did you have a deadline? Was your room super clean? Did you have all the tools you needed? Did you work with someone you enjoyed? Were you super excited about the project or the task or whatever it was? So no right and wrong answers. Going to give you about 3 more minutes to think about this, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms. And I think we can stay there until the hour is whole. So until 5.
So where are you guys right now? Are you in Oslo?
I am in India.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Where in India?
So I am in Ahmedabad right now. It's somewhere on the eastern part of India.
All right.
I actually live in the capital, but I came down to visit a few friends who will be leaving for overseas very soon.
Great. It's lovely.
Yeah, I'm in Bergen in Norway right now.
Okay.
As well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in Oslo as well, like Norway.
Yeah, me too. Up here in Bogstadveien.
I'm actually looking for an apartment right there.
Oh, if you were like 2 months earlier, you could have had this one because I'm moving like now on the 1st.
Damn it. Too late.
All right, is everyone back? I think so.
Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, how was that, y'all? Did anyone discover something revolutionary or just have a good time at least?
At least I had a good time.
I didn't get to discover something revolutionary, but I was happy that this time was given to us to reflect on our strengths and weaknesses. Like, yeah, it's very good to think of this stuff. Thank you. I had a great time.
Thank you.
It was really productive for me, like, and also inspiring because I got to like group all the strengths and all the weaknesses I had, and I also related to some of the things that my group members also said, And I just realized that the things that I experience are not the things that only I experience. There are also other people that do. And that's great. I feel much better when I hear that I'm not the only one suffering alone. Stuff like that.
Yeah. That's great to hear. And also kind of what you said, like this is a start to see if you haven't done it before, like your strengths and weaknesses. But remember, like this is just the beginning. This is something you have to do several times, something you have to check up on if you want to be aware of it. And we should always try to play more to our strengths and to focus on the weaknesses, because the strengths we can build on and the weaknesses we can compensate for. So if you find that you have some things that you struggle with, find ways to compensate for it and focus on your strengths, on how you can go forward. So I think, Anka, we're going to move into
yes,
your big block.
Can you please put the PowerPoint again?
Yeah, I forget it keeps on sharing. I'm sorry. I use Teams, not Zoom. I don't know how to. There we go. It's sharing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting good at this. Okay, cool. I'm just going to segue gently and elegantly over to Anka. Here you go.
Yeah. So the next thing that we're going to get into, as we said earlier, we wanted to give you some more concrete tools in which you guys can try and work with in order to I don't know, as Lynn said, to amplify on your strengths and just make sure that you don't work based on your weaknesses. The remote work canvas, it's a tool and a canvas that it's been used a lot for teams to work remotely, like far away from each other. But from my point of view, is it can be very easily and very nicely customized based on your personal experience, and be used for personal work management, not just team management. Lynn, if you can click to the next one. Thank you. So yeah, this is the canvas. So it's not that complicated. It's quite easy. But as I said, this take it from no, go back to the other one. Yeah, thank you. This is like the teamwork canvas. But what we're gonna do as an exercise, first we're gonna go through all of it, and then as an exercise, we're gonna switch it to your personal work management. So this, obviously you can customize it however you want, but some of the things that I found often relevant are, for example, like at the top it's just like the time zone, the name and email and so on, so it doesn't really matter, it's not so relevant. But under it's first of all, like scheduling meetups. That's relevant in case you guys work a lot online. Either in group projects or at work, or I don't know if you're part of AIESEC in AIESEC, but just have there all of the links for people to schedule meetings with you. Then you have the schedule for the week. This I took as you would have had planned it for like the following week. So the schedule of the week in terms of when do you have meetings. So you have them like very clearly written, hey, what's happening this week? When are my meeting schedules and so on. Then this is something that again in a team is super important, to have a lot of like rules, both in terms of work and in terms of video meetings. So I don't know, for example, don't schedule video meetings if you are an early bird and you know that after 3 or 4 in the afternoon you're not productive anymore. Then don't schedule video calls or work in general like after 4 in the afternoon. Or I don't know, for example, what else is here? It's very tiny. Just in terms, as we said, you just went through the flow of what was the best time for you to work. So this is what we mean in terms of general rules of work. For example, if in your flow was that you work best at the university instead of working at home, you should put there in the general rules of work, hey, I would like to mostly work from school if it's possible, obviously if it's not closed because of Corona. Or I know I start resting at the evening, yeah. Or if you guys, I don't know, work better with people around you, you should put as general rules of work to try as much as possible to work in group projects or have your best friend come to school and work with you instead of just sitting there by yourself. So whatever you thought that was the flow for you, just try to put it there and convert it into roles of work for yourself. Roles and responsibilities here are mostly the general roles and responsibilities that you have right now in your life. You might be a student, so you have your roles and responsibilities for being a student. Maybe you have like a side part-time job for that, so you also have that part-time job. Just make sure that you put in all of the roles and responsibilities that you have right now, that you need to be like to set aside time or effort in order to do. Then underneath you have the tools that you work with. Like this is something that I put myself, because I've known from my own experience that I've worked, I was telling the girls I was in the breakout room with, but I'm telling everyone I used to work as an event manager before opening our own company. And as an event manager, I was working with Trello, with Google Drive, with like on Zoom, on meetings, on LinkedIn, everywhere. So all of the time, like the entire team and everyone that was involved, they were losing links, they were not knowing where to look for stuff and so on. So it's really, from my point of view, it's really helpful to have like one place where you have like all of the tools, all of the drives and everything that you're working, if you have them in one place. And then the last one is obviously the tasks for the week. So what do you have to do this week? I don't know, if you have a certain exam that you have to work on, if, I don't know, if you have a part-time job, I don't know, an internship as marketing manager for a startup, what are your tasks for that startup this week? So yeah, basically, like this is the remote canvas, the remote work canvas. And it'd be really cool to take a moment and, based on all of the exercises that you've done so far, write in how your week is going to look like. Maybe next week, because this week is already halfway done. So do you have meetings happening? Do you have like project meetings? Do you have work to do? Then what do you want your general rules of work to be like, based on the flow that you had? Like how do you want to organize your work, and what do you want like people that you work with, either classmates or people from work, to know about you, that's when you're at your most flow. Then your general roles and responsibilities that you have right now in your life, and then obviously the tasks that you have, what is going on for work next week. Actually, next week is Easter, isn't it?
No, 2 weeks.
Okay, in 2 weeks. I was like, maybe I had like the worst week of tasks to give you when you don't have any.
Plan some Easter egg hunting.
Yeah. So yeah, then to write down what tasks do you have, what are the most important things that you need to remember. And usually this is what I like, someone like me that was, I think Una was saying or something in the chat, that is a control freak. I'm a control freak as well. This is something that I would have, and every morning that I get into work, I would just open this up and I'll be like, okay, first of all, do I have any meetings today? Okay, yes or no. Then do I have any tasks? What's supposed to happen this week or today, and so on. So yeah, as I said, you have two other also like columns there that are in there that can be filled in with anything that you might feel that it's important that is not here. Because as I said, everything, different things work for different people. So maybe you have something else that for you it's really important that I just didn't think of, because maybe for me that's not how I work with. But yeah. Let's see, there's some questions here before we start to work. At which time of the day do we have to make schedules for the next days or weeks? Here, it depends on you, but me personally, I usually make my schedule on Friday afternoon for the next week. And then on Monday, when I get to work, the first thing I do is check my emails to see if there's any changes to my canvas. So, because I already have like from Friday, like a draft of the canvas, but usually on Monday morning when you get to work, you have a bunch of emails and you might need to do some changes based on that. Yeah. Just okay.
But
So,
was there some changes you have to do?
Sorry?
But what should I do if there come up some changes in the schedule?
Well, yeah, as I said, this is something that it can always be like worked on. So it's not like if you have it on Monday morning and it's written down, like there's no like going around it or anything. Like this is something that just for you to kind of have an overview of your week and an overview of your like tasks and what you have to do, in order to kind of keep yourself accountable somehow, you know. So yeah, of course, that if you have stuff coming up and like changing during the week, you can always like change it and edit it out a bit. Yeah, but yeah, I would like now for the next 10 to 15 minutes, depending like how long it takes you guys, to try to write on a piece of paper and make your next week's canvas, and see both like what you have going on for you, but most importantly, I would also like for you to write your like rules of either video meetings or your rules of work and how you would work best as a person. So yeah, I think 10 maximum 15 minutes should be okay for this, in which we can get your work canvas, and then after that we're gonna have maybe like 2 or 3 of you sharing for everyone to like for the group, for all of us to see what you guys came up with before we move forward with the workshop. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm still going to be here. So then any questions, just raise your hand or write in the chat, and then in 10 minutes we can talk again.
I just want to ask before we start, if we're going to get like this template somewhere on, for example, email or...
Yeah, so we can share like the entire PowerPoint with the organizers. I assume that they have your emails from when you sign up. So yeah, we can just send you guys the entire PowerPoint.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you show your example, actually, so that we have some inspiration? Yeah, thanks.
Lynn, can you go to the previous? Thank you. So let's maybe start sharing a bit. The reason why I wanted this exercise to be shared with everyone together and not just in the break rooms is because I wanted you guys to maybe get a bit of inspiration from each other. Because as I said, this is a very personal and very easily customized kind of tool. So definitely you're going to help each other out if you hear others' points of view. So yeah, it would be cool to hear, but maybe not the entire thing, because yeah, for example, we don't really need to know where each of your meeting is next week. We're not that kind of creepy. But we could hear a bit about like the rules for the meetings and your rules of work, and a bit about also like your tasks for the next week, to see how you see your week and how do you guys think it's going to be like. So I don't know if anyone wants to share first.
I think like I do have an example, but I'm not sure if it's all right. So
I mean, we can give it a try as long as it's right for you, though. Because
yeah, but
like, it's supposed to help you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know if you can like show me an example or something, because I just have like I have my like agenda, right? So I write everything down here, like my classes and my meetings and work and everything. So I don't know if you mean that.
Okay, so you already have like kind of like a calendar and like a task.
I have to.
Okay, yeah. And how about like in terms of like your rules of work? Do you have any of that?
What do you mean by that?
Like I don't know, for example, as I was mentioning earlier, for example, I don't know, you cannot study in the night, so you have your rules of work is to work from like
Oh
8
yeah,
to 5,
absolutely. That's
or
why
like
I
things like
have
that.
this.
Mhm.
Like I know that I have my classes during the morning, so I know that I have to study and wake up early in order to get that done, so then I can go to work after.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I need to stick to that. Otherwise I usually I can't do the other things because I don't have more time.
Okay, yeah, so in terms of like roles and responsibilities, you have both like school work and you also have like work.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a really good example of it, because as I said, like this is just I don't know, like a tool that, for example, I use, but it's not a tool like for some people. It works a lot better to have a calendar and to have everything like actually like written in pen and having it very like, palpable there.
Exactly. I'm a really like paper girl, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. Like I do it on my phone as well, but I think if I write it down, like I get it more and I have it more like organized.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I also used to have a work colleague that used to have like actually like she used to draw like very nice calendars like in an agenda and everything, so
yes,
I get it. Yeah, cool.
That helps. I have tried that with like drawing and stuff like that, and that kind of helps me get inspired and motivated.
Write down things, you mean?
Drawing?
Yeah, drawing and just writing them down, you know, because it's kind of like it makes you feel less stressed because you're drawing and stuff.
You know, I usually when I write things down, I write as well. I draw like kind of a square next to it, and when I get it done, I do like and it's just a satisfying feeling. I don't know why. It's just like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Daniela. Let's see, does anyone else want to share a bit about, I don't know, the way that they work, or whether they can use a tool like this, or if they want to like...
Well, actually, I'm kind of a bad worker. I've been kind of a bad worker recently, but here is actually here's a kind of here's kind of a default canvas that I made. I don't know where I can put in breaks. The other breaks I've put in are the ones for lunch and jogging and singing, etc. But I actually want to take a full break at weekends.
Yeah, so in the weekends you just want to chill.
Of course I want,
yes. Work. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one of your general rules of work. Yeah. Cool.
I can share some if nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah, so since my schedule is pretty tight, in the morning basically I have some online classes, and afterwards I get breakfast and I immediately go to work, especially because I'm working on 2 projects right now. I just finished my first one, but now I'm just continuing with the second one. I just work all the time, like my schedule is basically working. And then in the meantime, for example, somewhere around 4 or 5 o'clock, I join some Norwegian språk cafes so I can improve my Norwegian.
Yeah.
And that is something I consider as a break, because it's something that makes me relax a bit. And afterwards I continue working, and somewhere around 7 or 8 I stopped completely. I completely stopped with working what I was, the things I was doing throughout the day, and I take a break. And especially one thing I want to say to all of us who are wearing glasses is we need to do more breaks, as in like maybe like a 10-minute break between every hour, because it's really, really bad for the eye and the eyesight if we're in front of computer all the time. I was never doing a break until recently when I started basically having problems with my eyesight and my eyes. So now I try to do breaks, eye breaks that I call, that are like 10 minutes between my tasks. So yeah, thank you for listening to me.
I think that's a really, really good point, because I understand, and I also think that a really big part of self-leadership, as I said, it's not just work, but it's also personal life. So in terms of personal life, you need to take care of yourself first. You need to make sure that you're okay, your eyesight is okay, that you stretch your legs every 10 minutes, and then you just take care of your health. So that's a really, really good tip. Cool. But then we can move on like to the next tool that I had in mind. It's the last one that I'm going to present it to you. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with other tools, but like this is obviously like a tool that a girl that I used to work with made. So it's just like it's an Excel basically written in. But there are a lot of really good professional tools that you can use in terms of work management. Full disclaimer, I am not a salesperson for any tool. I'm just presenting to you guys what worked for me personally. So in terms of like work management tool and project management tool, you have a lot of them. So many of them. This is one that worked for me the best because it was the most, easy to use and like instinctual, for me, because I'm a person who is very visual, and I like to have everything like very nicely like color coded and like presented in front of me. So because of that, I chose Asana, which is my all-time favorite work management and project management tool ever. So I just wanted to go a bit through it with you guys to just kind of see how it looks like, and maybe it'll help one of you in terms of like organizing your work or organizing your projects or this is kind of the main page. Lynn, if you can click for the next one. This is how it looks like when you get into it. Like you can have, as you can see there in like recent projects, you can make yourself a lot of projects. So like, for example, when you're going to be working on different school projects, different exams and so on, you can put there in as many projects as you'd like. So it's not just like a one project tool. You can add in as many as you want. So that's really cool. Next one. So this is how the dashboard looks for one of the projects. I think maybe you went through two parts. Let me see. Anyway, so you can put all of the tasks in there, and then it's really cool that you can put you can divide them in tasks of to-do tasks that you need to do in the future, that you are doing, that you're currently working on, and tasks that are done, that you have finished. So each of the tasks, as you can see there, you can categorize them and modify. For example, in terms of like priority, is this urgent? Does it need to happen right now, or can it happen later? And it's like a different kind of like priority. Or you can modify the status. You can put in deadline. If you're working in a group with a bunch of people, you can put in like multiple people on Asana, so then you can assign tasks for each person. You can write in description for each of the tasks and see what you want to do with it and how it contributes to it. If you can click on the next one. Like that was the dashboard, but you can also see it in calendar. So this is something that again is very visual it's very good for someone who's a bit visual like me. Yes, for example, I can just get into Asana every morning and I look at that particular day and I'll see, okay, how many tasks do I have to do today? What needs to happen today? So then it gives you a really good visual in terms of when your biggest workload would be in terms of projects. Like obviously, in most projects, the biggest workload is like towards the end of the project, towards the deadline. So then it really gives you a really good visibility in terms of how much you have to work for that specific thing and when. The next one. Yeah. So this is the list one. You can also, instead of seeing them in a dashboard or the calendar, you can see just like listed out all the tasks that you want to do. Next. And here in my tasks, again, you can see if you have multiple projects, because the ones that I showed you before, they were project-based. But if you have multiple projects, you can also see what are all of your tasks in a day on all of the projects and everything combined. So yeah, from my point of view, it's like if you're a visual person, is the best tool out there for you, because you can see everything in terms of what projects you have, when do you have tasks on, when's the deadlines, who do you assign deadlines to, and so on. So it's very, very intuitive and very easy to use as a platform. Again, as I said, I'm not a salesperson for Asana. It's just my favorite one, and I just wanted to give you kind of an example or something that you can do. I have to pay the full version of Asana. There are some features that you only have if you pay the full version. I personally work with it for like 2 years, and I never paid for it. For example, I don't remember. There's like some dashboards and some statistics and stuff like that that were there, but I personally never used them because I was too cheap to pay for the entire version. So then I just used the free version, and it did for me more than I needed. It just worked perfectly. Next one. I think I'm done with presenting Asana now. But yeah, the idea is that I don't know if you guys have any questions more about Asana or not, but Tarini just sent the link. You guys can look into it and just see how it works. But and if you don't like that one, for example, you also have Trello.com. So there's a bunch of places that can help you, or at least for me, it helped me amazingly, like in terms of project management. But yeah, so that was it. Like I just wanted to show you one kind of like homemade version of a tool that was that remote work canvas, and Asana, which is a professional version. Like you have so many things that you can use in terms of organizing your work. Like I think Daniela said, you can use like your own like physical agenda. You can use tools. But the most important thing is to use what works for you as a person. As Lynn said a couple of times, you always need to play to your strengths, and whatever your strength is, that's what you need to work on. So yeah, that was like were the tools that I wanted to show you. But before we move, we finish everything, I just wanted to see if you guys have like any thoughts or anything that I don't know, one small thing that either you learned today or something that you maybe knew before, but it was good to hear and have like reassured for you, or kind of what's your idea about what you reflected on today.
I will go, and I will be short.
Yeah.
One thing I really got as a conclusion out of the whole session is that breaks and pause are really important, and they are also really important for success, because if we overwork ourselves, if we just never take a break or do constantly things, we're gonna get burned out, and it's harder to raise yourself up from a burnout, instead of maybe just like postponing something because you need to take a break. So yeah, this is something that I reflected on today, and it's really helped me think.
Yeah, that's a perfect like takeaway, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
For the like the plan we made, I was inspired by the point you had about like your rules of work, and how kind of you structure your own day, and that you actually set limits to when people can expect something from you, or like when they can reach you, etc. Because I think it's very easy to just kind of try to adapt everyone, everything. So to actually like structure your own day and set limits to when you're available and what you can offer others, I think is a very good tip.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. But yeah, I guess I can throw the ball to Lynn now for like the wrap up of the workshop.
Yeah, the words of encouragement at the end. First of all, I just want to thank all of you who joined this workshop. Thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure to get to know you a little bit and to see how you guys have worked and reflected. I've been super impressed in the breakout rooms that I've been, how open you've been, how much you've been sharing, and how you've all been talking. I was very inspired by that. And I think it's important to think of, because like the theme of this, right, is self-leadership. And that is not something that's done in the day. It's something that you need to work on continuously, but it's also not something you have to be good at all the time. It's completely okay to not only take a break, but to also fall on your ass and fail. That is not an issue. You can always try again. And to just like, if you start today and you make a plan and you see that it doesn't work, there is no issue in just revising that plan and doing something else that works. This is something that we're going to have to do all of our lives. And I just hope that you guys found something.
Go. Thank you everyone for being here and for sharing and for making a really cool workshop.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the session.
Thanks.